Yeah. From the first word spoken to the last amen. Look, day one, I believe in the Father, maker of the heavens and the holler. Seen things unseen in the silence, whole world in his hands, that's balance. Light, land, oceans in order, skylines stretch past borders. Every breath, every law that's written came from the mind that isn't limited by minutes or distant. Feminine wisdom, perfect existence, one throne, no rival in the system. Alpha in the code, I listen. We believe, say it out loud. One God, one Son, one Spirit in the crowd. From the throne to the grave, then he rose in three. Whole church stand up, this is our creed. We believe, heart on sleeve. Every line in my soul like ink that bleed. From the first I believe to the last, amen. That's the truth we stand on. Say it again. Only one sin, true God, true flesh, that's intent. Born from a woman, promise in the womb, royal in the manger, glory in the gloom. Walked dust, felt hunger in the heat, love wore sandals in the street. Spoke life, storm, heard wind, froze, touch of his hand, blind eyes rose. For I say, took the blame, that's in it. Cross on his back, that's penance. Laid in the grave, don't shut dark deep, third day, sun up, death fell asleep. Woo! Lifted up, backseated with the Father, all things under him, why bother? Running from grace when the gate wide, he'll come blazing, judge day, no size. We believe, hey. Say it out loud. One God, one Son, one Spirit in the crowd. From the throne to the grave, then he rose in three. Whole church stand up, this is our creed. We believe, heart on sleeve. Every line in my soul, I ain't that bleed. From the first I believe to the last, amen. That's the truth we stand on. Say it again. I believe in the Spirit, breathe in the lungs. Fire in the room when the praise gets sung. Oh yeah. Prophets write songs, holy, holy sets us apart. One church, one hope, one birth. Forgiveness reigning on this earth. Grace gonna crack when he calls our names. New life, new body, no shame. We believe, say it out loud. One God, one Son, one Spirit in the crowd. From the throne to the grave, then he rose in three. Whole church stand up, this is our creed. We believe, heart on sleeve. Every line in my soul like ink that bleeds. From the first I believe to the last, amen. That's the truth we stand on. Say it again. Amen.
We lost him. There he is.
There we go.
Do the thing. Do the thing.
Man, that concerned me. That was concerning me.
It's still not great, buddy.
Easy. I just did.
XL Big Dog. Welcome to the Call to Defend live stream.
Good
back
now?
to its usual levels of heterosexuality, because I am back. I am Caleb Elliott. I am here with Josh Davis. Josh, how are you? Other than frozen. What a pose to freeze in.
Am I good?
No.
Am I good now?
Not really. You're just kind of, hey, there we go. Nope, now we're frozen again. We were moving for a second and now we're
I'm good now.
Okay, there we are. Yes, there we go. Nope, we're good now. We're good now.
Are we actually? Are we actually
Yes.
good now?
Yes. Yeah, I can see you in real time.
Okay. That has not happened before.
This first stream in like what? Like it feels like a month. that we are
We
back
streamed last
together
week.
at the same time. Well, yeah, but like I was.
I mean, we streamed 2 weeks
late
ago
and had to
together.
leave early. It's been a long 2 weeks. It has been a long.
It has been.
weeks.
And then you're gonna be gone again Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Wait, why am I on the right side? There we
Yeah,
go.
I know. I was a little weirded out by that because it is Big Glizzy XL Big Dog, not the other way around. It was kind of weird.
Yeah,
to
it's
me
not
out,
XL Big Dog Big Lizzy.
With-
It's
exactly
Big Lizzy.
XL Big Dog.
You gotta get a little bit.
I
You
was,
have a lower voice than I do, but you gotta get that
yeah.
that smooth bass more.
Well, I've got more of the gravel in my voice just
XL
naturally.
Big Dog.
XL Big Dog.
There you go.
I'll see
There
that.
you go.
Yeah, but I still have that natural, like more gravel.
Yeah, I just feel like it's been a second.
It
And it's gonna
has
be a
been
second again because they're gonna be gone Thursday. For good reasons. For good reasons. We're gonna be
Yes.
gone again Thursday.
Yeah, no, I'm not just blowing y'all off. You know how much I love and appreciate each and every one of you. But also, I'm taking my kid to the state fair, and that's more important.
Speaking of people who are more important, I just showed Caleb this, but I just wanted to show it off again. This is not new. It came out like a year or two ago. My girlfriend is probably the coolest ever. She got me this while we were at a family camping trip together with my parents and sister and grandparents and all that stuff. It is epic. This is Josh. I think his name is Josh Noon. He actually got to speak as a guest speaker at Ruslan's latest. What's it called?
Bless God Summit.
Yeah, his second one of that. He got to speak there. I don't remember what he spoke about. I know. I think he was on 2 different panels. One of them I think there was a little controversy over. I think it's because he is Orthodox, but he's a catechumen.
Excuse me.
I don't know what
I
these
don't
words
know what
mean.
these words are. These could be like horrible insults against someone's mother. We have
Maybe.
absolutely no idea.
Could be professing their love for you too. We have no idea.
Yeah, pretty spoken for. Pretty contently spoken for.
I also want to warn you. I'm going to warn you in front of everyone because one easy thing is I actually want to kind of share this. We haven't done this in a second. Whoops, wrong thing. We are going to
I think that warranted a warning. Yes.
We are going to be
It's Turkish.
showcasing more of our Discord again because we actually have a few major projects that are coming up. I'm going to just show the announcement page out of respect for everyone else. It's been more busy lately. But you can join our Discord. The reason I mention this is because we have a few projects that I'm personally working on that you can, the easiest way to get us to look at stuff further is to go to the submissions council, as Caleb has labeled them, and you can send us stuff there. One of the things that was asked of me was to explore the concept of the essence and the energies distinction within early Greek thought of Christianity. And so I put a book in there that I already read. And just to quickly showcase, I'm reading another book. I literally have never marked a book up this much before.
Oh.
Plus all my underlines. And Caleb, the way that we're breaking this up is that we are going to be doing an Ecclesia discussion on this because it does impact your understanding of Trinity, which I think is just a good thing to kind of work through for that channel. We also have a good deal of scriptural argument discussions for it. So there's going to be a Graphai podcast dedicated to just kind of exploring that concept, which honestly sets up really, really well for another project that was asked of us from our class, was regarding the Holy Spirit. And the reason I say is because when you look at how Ruach kind of plays into it, you actually can kind of see some really early Jewish concept for this idea of the essence energies distinction. And it's really, really fascinating. So that might be like another thing we do much further down the road, but just kind of putting that out there, just kind of showcasing what we're kind of working on. And then I'm going to be looking at how much this impacted the first 2 councils discussions on the Trinity. Reason I'm saying is because you can also add things to the recommendation of things you want us to kind of look into on our Discord here, where we can't promise it'll be the next thing we do, but it will take priority over projects that at least that I'm personally working on. I will bump them up higher on the list than what I'm like. If you look behind me, I have a pile of books And those are books of things I'm planning to work on for future projects. But if you request something, your thing goes up higher on the list because I actually want to cater to our audience and tend to them. But we also have a general chat where you can just hang out. We got a prayer request section that's really, really important for us. It's been very, very active, which I'm very blessed to just kind of see that, and just I need to take more advantage of the time to just pray for other people. We got a memes thing. Caleb, I'm gonna be doing a memes review at the end of this year. It's actually blocked for us. We actually don't see this right now. We've muted it, and we won't be seeing it until I think like this December. We're gonna look at it for the first time.
God
So
willing.
is pretty much you can go in there, you can debate about theology.
That's what you're into.
Pretty much. Announcements is self-explanatory. Submissions already explained. Philosophy and theology. Lately, that's become like a secondary debate channel. It's really meant to be more like a, hey, I want to understand a concept, and you want to just kind of pester the people in the Discord and see what their thoughts on something. Stuff like that. Out of pocket is really most of the time Caleb quoting me out of context.
Well, Josh, in my defense, you do say some out of pocket things. Like, that is something you absolutely do.
No, never. Verse of the day is just a programmed Bible bot that posts things. What's been really nice is we have at least 2 other people in there who kind of share some other verses they have been impacted by that day. So you kind of get some more verses of the days, which is pretty epic. Resources, this is usually from me. I don't post things in there unless it's like fresh in my mind, or it's usually based on something that someone has asked about. So for instance, this book will be going in there because it applies to something that people have been asking about. Sports or spurts, self-explanatory. Church and state, talk about politics, have fun. CTD After Dark is not what it seems. It's just a very private channel that if we don't
forgot that existed.
Yeah, so that way if we didn't want to, if we were going to show things on the stream, this is what's not going to stream, just so people have some privacy.
Yeah.
Musics, I need to be more active there. I am a music teacher. I should be more active than I actually am. But it's a good time. You can hang out in there. Governing principles, that's our rules. We might have some updates coming up, depending. I think we're growing, so there might be a reason to have some more principles just kind of added. White smokes for polls, which the funny thing is that Caleb's the only one who uses that for polls. Everyone else posts polls everywhere else, which is kind of just funny. Gaming, if you want to talk about games, literally like video games, board games, whatever, I don't really care. Praises, probably the second most, if not tied for the first most important thing, just getting to praise the Lord for things they've been going through that day. So just want to showcase that again, especially because we have a bunch of projects regarding this early Greek, first few centuries thought that's pretty important. And I just wanted to be able to kind of showcase why we're preparing that. And it's because people are requesting things in there. And so we want you guys to know, if you wanted to request things, that is the easiest way to do it. Then just leave in a comment.
Speaking of comments, the Is America You? No, this is actually the flag of Zimbabwe. Oov. That flag is representative of a slavery era, which is symbolic, and a representation of an era when systemic slavery was rife and not everyone in the West was free. So which God do you pray to? Okay, so real quick, point 2 doesn't follow point 1 because there was still slavery back in the days of Israel. So that the point 2 doesn't follow point 1, but let's run with point 1 for a second. Can you show me which founding father was an advocate for slavery, not tolerated it, not even necessarily owned slaves themselves, but was like, hey, slavery is a good thing and everybody should practice it? See, the flag itself, yes, it comes from a time when slavery was a thing, but that doesn't mean the flag represents slavery. The flag represents freedom, and it's one of the great paradoxes of history that the men who created it could not quite understand the evil that they were participating in. However, some of them did, right? George Washington in his will asked that his slaves be released and be freed men. He understood that, right? There were several founding fathers who wrote that slavery was a moral evil. So if we're going to go that route, I think you need to check your history a little bit. And in tonight's episode of the Caleb and Josh show, Josh prepares for a debate, and Caleb all of a sudden thinks, what can I do to make the debate humorous? Oh, dude, that's my life goal.
I'll just kind of throw something out there. I put this in a while ago, and it just now showed up 2 months later. I think it's just because of delays. Not to be confused with Logos Bible Software, which I do also promote. I don't get anything from it. It's just I think it's a good resource. There's another company, if you want to get more into philosophy, that's also called Logos, but it's Logos Publishing. I might look into this when the school year starts again, but they have this thing where you can do almost like a book club where they just send you a custom printed copy of whatever philosophy book of the month with annotations and bookmarks and stuff. It's actually kind of cool. So we talk a lot about philosophy. I just kind of want to throw that out there. If you're like, you don't know where to start, you just kind of like a I always recommend going back to the beginning, but if you just kind of like a guide, you want to be able to read a book a month, it's kind of cool. They send you a whole little package. It's kind of nice. Just want to throw that out there for anyone. I know we have people in our Discord who are interested in philosophy, so you can also read for free because public domain. But if you like hard copies and you kind of want the fancy, fun covers, I think it's like less than $30 a month.
A month. I thought you were going to say it's just less than $30. End of sentence.
No, I mean, because you're getting hard copies, but you're getting these other things too, which is, it's like, all right, that's kind of cool. Just throwing it out there. Again, we have people who are like very much want to know where to get into philosophy. And I would always say, just kind of go back to the beginning and work forward because you can see progression. But if you struggle with that and struggle to find things, that's kind of a cool resource. I just kind of found that, I think like 2-3 months ago before just end the summer hit and I was broke because teachers don't get paid during the summer. So it now just showed up, I think again, it was just due to I think it was just
Joke's on you. I don't get paid year round.
I don't get paid. Teachers don't get paid year round.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I had a friend at church who could not understand that. And he kept going like, so you get paid for the summer? I was like, no, I don't. I just deferred my payments so I could survive.
Yeah.
All
right.
Enough promoting things.
Yes. Enough.
This is wild.
Dallying. Okay. This is something that you are going to have to walk me through because I did not know anything about this.
Yeah. So I texted Caleb. So what was supposed to happen was 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago or was it last week? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Somewhere in the span of a week to 2 weeks ago. I'm hoping it was only a week ago. But I also don't remember what I did last week. Anyways. Oh, now I remember. I remember now. We had to get ready to move my sister into college. So I need to be one of her drivers. So we had to pack that night. Anyways. So it was last week. Last week, I came across a video while at the gym. Because sometimes I'll either listen to music or I'll listen to like just things that are happening. And last week, a video came out. And I did not see the original video. All I saw was this one little thing. And I think we'll probably watch part of it. I kind of want to just actually watch the actual thing itself. But this is wild. So this guy here is Life, as his YouTube name.
Okay, yeah.
So Life is associated with God Logic. He runs God Logic 2.0 basically, which is kind of like our version of Call to Defend Apologia, but it's also kind of like Life's channel. It's kind of a mixture of things. And as you can see right here, Uthman, Muslim moderator, exposes everything, including Uthman himself. Now that caught my attention.
Now, same kind of exposure that he did to his friend's wife who was given to him for counseling, or a different kind of exposure.
Different kind of exposure. But pretty much what happens is this guy here,
as a Christian,
the one big screen right here, moderated their own version of a Jubilees video of like a 20v1. Now I'll summarize this video because I just want to get to the actual video itself because it's already just wild. You can just pick it apart from the second it starts. But it gets worse here. So this guy down here in the corner, we didn't actually, I don't think you ever responded to the video. I think, I can't remember if you were going to do it or if we were both going to do it at some point, or if we decided we weren't sure. He was part of another like table round discussion against Uthman. And he was the third person that went up. And at the first time, we were kind of annoyed with him. And then Caleb went and found a footnote. And he's like, "Oh no, he's right." And so
Well,
we were like,
his initial claim was correct. The way he argued was not great.
yeah,
but yeah.
The argument was good. His presentation, the argument was not. But he's now interviewing this guy here, and effectively, this is what they happened. So they hosted Jubilee's video, and people are noticing that something seems off because the way they promote it, we're gonna watch the promotion for it, is that Uthman goes to a Baptist University seminary to debate 20 scholars and students. What if you watch the video, here's what you learn. There are at least 2 Episcopalians, a Presbyterian, an agnostic / maybe atheist, a Unitarian, and the list keeps going. I don't think anyone there was actually, first off, Baptist, which is important for a Baptist seminary. But majority of the people there were not even scholars or Christian representatives in the truest sense.
Okay. Interesting.
So what happens is that he says in this interview, like, so this guy down here presses on him, and so does Jai from Jai. Maybe is it Jai or DOC? I remember the guy from Jai and DOC. I don't really know their channel that well.
Jai is the guy. Yeah.
Okay. I really don't know their channel. I just know of them. He also, I think, pressed him on some stuff. What they learned is that they just showed up first off and just found random people and said, "Hey, we're doing this video. Come do it with us." So they didn't filter through who was actually what, like, and what denomination or any of those things. They just picked random people, and they had Uthman film at the school, but took them somewhere else to have the conversation off campus. And when they kept pressing him on it, he just kept trying to defend Uthman, but kept exposing that they set up a 20v1 made to look like these are the top Christian scholars. And there was not a single scholar there. And that these were people who were clearly not from the university, except for maybe 2 people. And they were people, I think, in another interview has said that they were there visiting. They weren't even actually students there. But they were there studying because they wanted to use the library there.
Okay.
So I linked this video down below. I think it's either the first or second link in the original videos. I'm going to say go watch this because it's really interesting what happens here. I'm going to say right now that all background information just kind of confirms everything. But if you just watch the video itself, you already know that something's wrong.
Yeah.
And the arguments that Uthman brings up are arguments that I guarantee you scholars would laugh at because they know way too well how to respond to these. But he brings the most low tier Muslim and Christian arguments because he knows that these people don't really have a response for it. And so I got to watch this and listen to the original video, both videos, while at the gym. And I texted Caleb saying, my inner St. Nicholas is wanting to come out right now. I'm not allowed to.
Yeah.
I wanted to go slap I want to slap Uthman and all the heretics. They weren't all heretics, but there was clearly people that were just not experienced in what was going on there. And just like a Jubilee's video, you're able to pick one person to then have them pick a topic and you get to discuss things. And the person that volunteers and was picked was the one who probably of the speakers was one of the least prepared to have any kind of conversation. Now, then again, they're picked randomly. So it's not like they came prepared with arguments, but he picked the one that was clearly the youngest in terms of study, at least for his own position. And I admire the kid's zeal, but it's clear that he still doesn't really know what the questions are. And that's the one that they pick to have the final conversation with. So not even like one of the pastors who I would disagree with, but at least one of the pastors, not even like anyone who kind of showed decent-ish arguments. The one who, in all love and respect for our brother, was probably the least ready to go up. And yet he volunteered. So that's on him. But Uthman got to pick whoever he wanted to.
Right.
I had so many aneurysms listening to this. I wanted to chuck my phone so many times.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of a debate I watched on behalf of someone who had asked me to watch it because he was convinced that this proved that Islam was true. It was a debate between Ahmed Deedat, so not off to a great start, and I don't remember the other guy's name. He was a pastor. And it was very, very evident from the outset that the pastor had no idea what he was talking about. Like, absolutely none. And so I would agree pretty much that Ahmed won the debate just purely on the grounds of knowing more.
Sure.
But knowing more doesn't make you correct. You can know lots of false things and still know more. But if they're all wrong, then who cares? And so I went through and I was like, okay, well, here's what the pastor missed that Ahmed just gets completely wrong. And I just completely deconstructed his entire argument. And it was like, this is the debate partner that he chose, I think in large part because the guy clearly didn't know anything. Like, not even about Christianity. He really didn't know like all that much in terms of debating. Like, at one point he said that Abba was the Greek word for father. Yeah, which is not the case.
Common misconception a lot of people seem to have.
Yeah. So, and Ahmed picked right up on that, and he's like, well, that's not actually correct. And he corrected him and then moved on. So, right, point D dot, right? So you can absolutely pick somebody in a debate who doesn't know what they're talking about and just take them to town on it, right? That doesn't make your side correct. It just means that you know more. Knowing more is great, unless it's false information.
Yeah. When we hit the comments real quick, and then what we're going to do is this. We're going to probably not get through all the video. What we'll probably do is at least this. We're going to at least listen to the prompts that Uthman gives. And we'll listen to like maybe the first couple people and their response. But I think also what would be worthwhile is because if these are the arguments Uthman wants to present as strong arguments, I see no reason why we can't just ourselves go through each of his prompt and give a brief response. As these are terrible arguments. The first one is, I warn you, Muhammad's in the Bible, and the passage he goes to is Song of Solomon.
I knew it. I knew he was going to do Song of Solomon. All right. I'll cook him. I don't care.
But anyways, let's get to this next comment.
Yes. What founding fathers wrote did not cull the vice. That's weird because Frederick Douglass cited the Declaration of Independence as to why slaves should be free too. But okay. But also I never said that they were, because this next point, so-called founding fathers still hoarded slaves. Yeah, I never said they weren't slave owners. I said that's the great paradox of history, is that men who were so focused on freedom couldn't recognize the evils right in front of them. But I also asked you to show me a founding father who said it's a good thing that we have slaves and we should have more of them, and you didn't. And then I also pointed out that George Washington freed his slaves at the end of his life. But really, the thing I want to talk about here is slavery never ended. Well, that's weird because you said the flag is from a slavery era. Well, that's an old flag. So clearly there was a point at which that era ended. Ergo, slavery would have ended. But really to the point here, but metamorphosized into that which is current mass incarceration. So the people who have committed crimes now and are in prison because of committing said crimes, you're equating them to the people that were taken against their will and brought here to the Americas, right? The African slave trade, which then sent it to the transatlantic slave trade, You're saying that those people who did nothing wrong and were just imprisoned against their will are the same thing as the people who do crimes and who hurt other people and who kill other people. They were the same thing. That is a heck of an argument, my guy. Wow, I would not want to dishonor my history so much. Oof. All right. Anyways, more to the point. All right, right off the bat, that is not an appealing screenshot of this man.
Well, that's the moderator too.
No, I know, but like, that is not an appealing freeze frame. I'm sorry, my friend. That oof. I think honestly, what's doing it for me is the gray on gray, and the lights are really washing him out. So like,
remember, this is an off campus. This isn't even on campus. This is
some of the people are blurred.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay.
A great time.
Islam and Christianity. For each prompt Sheikh Uthman gives today, we will have 15 minutes on the clock shared between all of our contestants, and they'll be able to come up here in this chair and debate him. Whenever the time goes off, the first one to come will be the first one who will be able to discuss with him, and each of them have a flag to vote out any person who they believe needs to be switched out for someone else. Whenever the majority comes, we'll send them back. And someone...
The Jubilee 20v1.
Yep, pretty much.
Also, real quick, you proved him wrong, so he left. Well, hopefully he can open his mind a little bit and come to Christ. Anyways, continue.
We will come up and discuss until the time runs out.
I believe the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is clearly mentioned in the Bible.
All right, if you would like to debate him on this.
I would love to debate him on this topic.
Believes he's in the Bible.
I would,
topic,
as much time as he wants, as many verses as he wants. Let's go through it. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. I would love that opportunity, please. Anyways, sorry. I just... to be there.
I know. Yeah. And I was frozen the entire time you said that by stuff. I feel I know what you were talking about.
Basically, I want to be there to debate him.
Okay, I was right.
Go ahead and take a seat.
So the prompt is that Muhammad is clearly stated in the Bible.
Yes.
Also, could you show me some text?
Sure. So this is in the Songs of Solomon. Just for preference, to understand, the Song of Solomon is, according to the Christian Orthodox, the New Orthodox Annotated Bible, this is a prophetic speech, meaning it's not just a love song. That's why it's one of the most used prayers in Jewish literature. It is a mystical symbolism, is involved in highly figurative language. It is inclusive in the Old Testament to be explained from the prophetic figure of the Lord. So prophetically, it's supposed to be mentioning somebody who is coming as a prophetic figure. The New Annotated Bible also, from Oxford, mentions that this is figurative speech, meaning it's supposed to tell us not just about a love relationship as the words would be, but the allegory is to show the interpretation or the centuries of the Common Era, and this is what was understood by the critical biblical scholars until the 19th century, that this is to show the relationship between God and who he would send to Israel and the people to guide them. So here in 5:16,
okay, hang on.
the word Muhammad is
hold up right there. Hold up right there. Relationship between God and the one he would send to Israel. Did Muhammad go to Israel?
No.
Okay. So his own source that he cites disagrees with him. Gotcha. All right, we're off to a good start.
Plus, I think Tremper Lawman, and I'll just plug this real quickly. Tremper Lawman III, his commentary makes a very compelling argument that the belief that this was that in what Uthman says it was about, even if it wasn't about Muhammad and his argument, he demonstrates fairly well. And I recommend just go find his commentary of no, that's not really how this worked. This is not what the text means. And he backs it up with ancient Jewish context of this is, we allegorized it, but that's not what the text actually is about. So go find his commentary. It's one of the most recommended commentaries in scholarship on this text. Just pointing that out there for everyone who's even curious about Song of Solomon. Oh, love the comment. Christians lie on Jesus in John 17:3. You hypocrites. You're gonna need to explain that one.
Yeah, we have had
numerous discussions.
So many discussions. We have a full video out on this topic.
I might have to do another one regarding the glory specifically. People are gonna want to go to John 17:20, but Anyways,
I mean, notice we are perfectly willing to show that comment on screen, which means like if we were really trying to lie about it, yeah. Okay, and now we're just hurling out insults.
now we're just hurling insults. We're not going to show that one on the screen, guys, just because it's just not worth it.
Delete that comment. He just called us a mean name.
That hurts me on the inside.
I know. You're a sensitive soul. I know. It's okay.
I'm also
buddy.
quoting Chuck, which is a fantastic show.
I'm unfamiliar.
I think you'd have a good time with it. Anyways.
I'm sure I'll have a good time with this.
And people to guide them. So here in 5:16, the word Muhammad is actually very explicitly written. I brought a printout of the actual, the printout from the lexicon itself. So this is the masculine noun. If you look at the Hebrew English lexicon.
And this is the last time that we're going to interact because you're just hurling out insults. I'm sorry, your God doesn't love you enough to become man for you. But there is a God who does, and he is the true God, the one that is who writes the scriptures that are confirmed within the Quran. Go to Surah Ma'idah, read the whole thing, and then ask yourself, what is the Injil? Because the Injil is between Muhammad's hands. That's what the Quran says, right? Ma baina yadehi. It is between his hands. So go and learn about what your book actually says regarding the God who becomes man for you. All right. Cool.
Between God
That's the
and
last we're going to engage there.
And people to guide them. So here in 5:16, the word Muhammad is actually very explicitly written. I brought a printout of the actual, the printout from the lexicon itself. So this is a masculine noun. If you look at the Hebrew English lexicon, and this has the numbers from Strong in it as well, if we were to find the root, and I've highlighted it for you, you see it actually has the word Hamida in Arabic. So it shows that that word Muhammad, and it's mentioned as Muhammadim, the im usually implies plural, but it's also used for majesty. For example, Elohim, Elohim, right? So even in Arabic, for example, when we say salam alaikum, alaikum is for plural, but we do it out of respect. So the name Muhammad is explicitly mentioned in even a lexicon that was written all by Christians. No, I'm not quoting any Muslim sources here, says that this word here is the same as Hamida, which is where Muhammad comes from. And the next
I want to point out a couple things. First off, he has not actually quoted the passage yet. He just referenced it in passing. Secondly, while Caleb's pumped this thing, im for idea of plural of majesty didn't exist at the time. That's not a thing. Scholars have refuted that idea numerous times for that time period of Hebrew. So his source is Trust Me Bro or out of date Hebrew scholarship. And even then he's trying to make an argument about Arabic in connection to Hebrew.
Yeah. Yeah. So
no,
he said there that the word Muhammadim, or he specifically said Muhammadim. That's not what the word is. Muhammadim is desirable, right? So we'll go through it. Oh goodness, where is is this the Ezekiel one?
5:16. Oh,
well, I mean, honestly, this still works though. Hang on.
Yeah, there's 12 appearances of Muhammadim. You have, I can just even, do you have a list up there too?
I have one right here. So Hosea 9:16, right? Same word, right? Just a little bit of a different ending there, but it's still Muhammad. Right there, I will slay the precious ones of their womb. So according to Uthman, then God has slain Muhammad, which actually Muhammad would agree with, right?
I mean, didn't he say, like, if I'm a false prophet, take me out this way?
Yes. If I am a false prophet. Exactly. He says, if I am a false prophet, or Allah says, if Muhammad has prophesied anything falsely, we will take him by his right hand and we will cut his aorta. And then Muhammad on his deathbed says, I feel my aorta being cut. It's like, So Muhammad actually would agree there with Hosea 9:16. But anyways, you had an actual list, you said.
Yeah, here, let me get my screen over here. I mean, this is on just Logos. It was, I think, a similar screen to what you had, but just a little less extra stuff, maybe. Here, add a stage, and let me expand my screen. It's just a little bit easier, and then I'll zoom in. All right, so we got 12 appearances. Let's do this. Let's play a little game. Let's insert the word Muhammad in every of the spots for Muhammadim. I think it'd be kind of fun. We got Lamentations 2:4. He has bent his bow like an enemy, with his right hand sent like a foe, and he has killed all who were Muhammad in our eyes. In the tent of the daughter of Zion, he has poured out his fury like fire. Let's go to Ezekiel 24:16. Son of man, behold,
I was just pulling one up.
I am about to take the Muhammad of your eyes from you at a stroke, yet you shall not mourn or weep, nor shall your tears run now.
And actually, you added the is actually included in the Hebrew word.
You're
there.
right.
So it would just be, I'm about to take Muhammad from your eyes.
So God is taking Muhammad away. He's a time traveler too.
The arms of the angels.
24:21. Say to the house of Israel, say, thus says the Lord God, behold, I will profane my sanctuary, the pride of your power, Muhammad of your eyes, and the yearning of your soul, and your sons and your daughters whom you left behind shall fall by the sword.
He's going to profane Muhammad.
Ezekiel 24:25. As for you, son of man, surely on the day when I take from them their stronghold, their joy and glory, Muhammad of their eyes and their soul's desire, and also their sons and daughters. Looks like a 2 Chronicles 36:19. And they burned the house of God and broke down the wall of Jerusalem and burned all its palaces with fire and destroyed all its Muhammad's vessels. Lamentations 1:10.
Kind of like Muhammad's vessel was destroyed by Al-Zut.
Lamentations 1:10. The enemy has stretched out his hand over all her Muhammad things. Whatever that means. For she has seen the nations enter her sanctuary. Those whom you forbade to enter your congregation.
Okay, so see, now that one I actually would say is probably prophesying Muhammad, but not in the way that they want it to. No. Should have saved my Al-Zut joke for there.
For behold, they're going away from destruction, but Egypt shall gather them, Memphis shall bury them, nettles shall possess their Muhammad things of silver, thorns shall be in their tents. Whatever Muhammad thing is. Nevertheless,
use this Muhammad thing a lot.
I will send my servants to you tomorrow about this time, and they shall search your house and the house of your servants and lay hands on Muhammad and take it away.
I have a feeling he was into that.
Probably. His mouth is sweet, and he is altogether Muhammad. This is my beloved. This is my friend, O daughter of Jerusalem.
So let's pause here, right? Because that's the verse that he's going to. And let's think about this in actually reading the verse, right? Because he hasn't yet. So in actually reading the verse, we don't even need to go to the prior context. Let's think about the verse here. His mouth is most sweet, and he is altogether Muhammad, is what Uthman's argument is. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. So apparently, Solomon's wife is thirsting after a man who will not exist for over 1,000 years, which is all kinds of creepy. Like, you think Muhammad to Aisha age difference is bad? Oh, dude, she's got him beat by orders of magnitude. She's got him beat by by a full millennia. That is
Isaiah 64:11.
Hang on. That depends on the question, my friend.
Yes.
But also, I will answer that question. You're welcome.
Isaiah 64:11. Our holy and beautiful house, where our fathers praise you, has burned by fire, and all our Muhammad places have become ruins.
I forgot about the one where Muhammad becomes ruined.
Ephraim is stricken. The root is dried up. They
Stricken?
shall bear no fruit. Even though they give birth, I will put their Muhammad to death.
Oh, man.
For you have taken my silver and my gold and carried my rich Muhammad into your temples.
I mean, he was fairly wealthy as a caravan robber.
I think that's only 2 passages were positive, and one involves Psalmist's wife thirsting for a guy that she does not know for over 1,000 years.
Mm.
And then this one is like the closest you're probably gonna get. But this word,
Actually, honestly, that's not a positive passage, though.
you know what?
That's an accusation, right?
Oh,
Joel
that's
3:5 is God saying them, you have taken my silver and my
That's
gold, and you
true.
have carried my rich treasures into your temples.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is not a positive
in that case,
passage
he's
either.
claiming Muhammad is precious to him then. Quick other thing too. This is probably one of the most recommended lexicons in scholarship today. I like to point out that there's not a single spot in here that mentions anything regarding Arabic as its root. In fact, I could even go to another one. Scrolly. Let's go to BDB. Let's see. Any sign of Arabic? Hebrew. No, nothing about Arabic. Let me keep going. How about this one?
Dude, that one's literally called DBL Hebrew.
Nope, nothing there. What about this one? Lexam Theological Word Book. Let's see. I see a lot of Hebrew. I see a lot of Bible passages. I see nothing about Arabic. Let me go to another one. What about this one? This one's super detailed, and yet it's only this small little paragraph section. And you notice every reference is a biblical passage or a lexicon. How about another one? This
That
is
was
Strong's.
an acronym and a half right there.
It's just one of the Strong's ones that he references. And there's no mention of any of that. So he has to have a very specific one that he also, if you notice, in the video, had to bring a printout, which means we don't even actually know, because we don't see the printout, if it is a legit printout or a forgery.
And we know that he has falsified this kind of information before because he did it in the other debate with God Logic and the other Christians there, and Vocab, and I can't remember everybody who was there. Elijah.
Something.
Right?
Like
He did it. He did it against the guy that was on the stage for 45 minutes. He lied about the footnote, which is hilarious given Uthman's history of being called Sheikh Ibn Footnote, because he's lied about footnotes before. So good to know he's just falling back on the old tricks. So we know he's falsified that information before. So how are we going to be able to trust him now? The answer is we can't.
Right. So he has a document that we can't actually verify anything with unless we actually go find the actual document itself. And even then, I have a compilation, and I have more, just not on Logos, of lexicons. I've not seen what he's seen. So he has some kind of fringe one. He also has not checked on how it's word used anywhere else, where it's only probably used positively once, maybe twice, if I remember correctly. So many of them are about destroyed and taken away. I don't think, and leaving in ruin, I don't think that's a positive for that word. And then he tries to use plural of majesty for Eem, and he tied it to Elohim. Not only that, he pronounced both words wrong, but that's neither here nor there. He does not know what he's talking about. This is complete garbage of an argument. Yeah.
Well, and especially given how the word functions there, right? Because if you're looking at it just in terms of, you mentioned pronunciation there, it doesn't pronounce as Muhammadin.
Oh yeah, it's Mahmadin.
Like it doesn't. He's adding an entire syllable in there.
Yeah, he's using not even just another syllable. He's changing the second, the technically the first vowel.
Yeah.
To a U, which is not there.
Right.
Next page, Mahmad, because there is no deep ha in the Hebrew language, is mentioned here as well as a noun. So when you have a noun, it's not correct to translate nouns, meaning the word David, for example, the name David is also, the clearly lovely and most purely beloved. But we don't translate it, right? We in the Bible, we don't say the most beloved, right? We say David. So when the name Muhammad was clearly mentioned, I don't think it was correct for it to be translated as the meaning of the most lovely. Rather, it should have been kept as it is in the name. That is one incident of the mention of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in the Bible. The second that I can also show is in Isaiah, and this is something that a lot of people have discussed. But before I get to that, I just want to show you something historic, and I like books. So
I imagine
I brought a manuscript.
I imagine it's not Isaiah 64:11, which is the passage that contains the same word and says that Muhammad is going to be in ruin.
I don't remember
If you're
exactly. It's
using
been a
his
week since
logic.
I've watched this video. But just in case, we did literally go through every appearance of Muhammadin. So therefore, you guys all know, we all know that this is just utter garbage. So let's see if he uses the same passage.
This is an actual scan of a handwritten manuscript. So it's not just even a book from a library or bookstore. It's from an actual museum. They scanned it. There's a book called Shifa by Qadi Ayyad, one of the great Islamic scholars. And there's a point I'm bringing here is he mentions three famous personalities that became Muslim at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him. One of them is Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As. I've highlighted it for you in case you don't know Arabic, but that's okay. And the other is Abdullah ibn Salam and Ka'ab ibn Akhbar. That these two, for example, were Jewish scholars. And they, when they read the Bible in the Old Testament and the scriptures, knew that a prophet was coming. And when they saw the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in person, quoting this actual verse, they accepted Islam. They became Muslim because they believed that the Prophet Muhammad was clearly mentioned in the Bible.
Relevance?
So here, when we look at the reference here in Isaiah, he says, I will put my spirit upon him, my beloved servant. So who is being discussed? A lot of people might say this is a reference to Jesus coming in the future, or somebody might say to John the Baptist. But when we look at the references here, it says here that he will be a light to the Gentiles. Right? And as you are well versed, you know that in Matthew 15:24, Jesus mentioned that he was sent to the lost sheep of Israel. In fact, if you keep going in the same verses, you'll find that the reference to the villages of Kedar and the inhabitants of Salah sing, let them shout from the tops of mountains. So where's Kedar? I mean, if you look at it as a reference to Jesus, then Kedar should be somewhere either in Jerusalem or Palestine. But according to, and again, this is the Smith's Bible Dictionary, so I'm not using any Muslim sources here. Kedar is a name that was given to the second son of Ishmael, from whom the Arabs came, from the tribe of Arabs. And they're the ones that gathered in Mecca. So the tribe seems to have been of the conspicuous of all of the Ishmaelite Arabs that came together, and they were all collectively called Kedar. So Kedar is a reference to Arabs in Mecca. And Salah, which there's a lot of discussion on where it is, but I've actually been.
It was reference to Kedar, okay. And Mecca? Dog, there's a debate over whether Muhammad existed because Mecca did not exist at the time that he said it did. There is a question over whether, like, you know, Isaiah's writing in like the 6th century BC,
Something like that.
so 1200 years. Really? It's a reference to a city that will not exist for at least 1200 years, if not a little more. Really?
Can't make this stuff up.
Yeah. Actually, sorry, 1100. 1100. I'll be generous and we'll say 1100.
I mean, dude's also
Really?
like, I mean, I can like, we probably can just quickly look up each of the sources he mentioned. It sounds like a lot of these are super outdated sources or are not legit sources. Yeah, you saw the comment too. Yeah, we're not posting.
I did
those.
not expect racism,
Yeah, don't worry. We're not putting that one up.
but also, long live Russia, the capital of Christianity. Yeah, okay, pal.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, capital of Christianity. Was it the capital of Christianity from the stretch between, like, let's just pick a random year here, 1917 and like 1990-ish. Was it then? Oh, and yet your leader is a guy from that exact period where Christianity was strictly outlawed, and yet you're going to proclaim it's the capital of Christianity.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
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 Into a place where you can see it, and I brought a printout for you. You can Google map it if you like. Salah is a mountain in Medina. Interestingly, I've actually physically been there, and the people who were of the Jewish faith that used to live there have had a graveyard there and a place of worship because they found it to be biblical. So till today, you can go and you can visit it, and you'll find that graveyard there. So when you see these references of the villages of Kedar inhabitants,
sorry, one other thing, because he's mentioning Kedar, and he's saying that's Arabia. Do you know who else in the Bible goes to Arabia? Because Muslims are quite not fond of this human being and accuse him of a great many things.
Couldn't imagine who would that be. Oh man.
I'll give everyone in the audience a hint. His name starts with a P and ends with an all.
Philippol?
Yes, you got it, buddy. Philippol. Our favorite apostle, Philippol.
You mean the guy that they claim just ruined scripture, yet we have a hadith of Muhammad quoting what is more likely Paul's version of a text than the Septuagint?
Not
or
more
the
likely.
Hebrew?
It is because Paul includes something thematic to his point that is not found back in Isaiah. So, and Muhammad includes that quote. So he's not quoting from Isaiah. He is quoting Paul.
Oops.
Yeah. So yes, Paul also goes to Arabia. So if you're going to play these games, we can play them too. With great ease and lots of fun.
Oh yeah.
That them saying, and the people of Sila to sit on top of the mountains of Sila. I think it's a pretty clear reference. Even if you go to the Jewish Encyclopedia regarding Kedar, they mention Kedar as being the ancestor of the Arabs from whose lineage Muhammad was brought through. And this is from Jewish Encyclopedia. I just didn't, and they're online sources, so I printed them. Bible Gateway also, there's a Christian source, mentions that in the view of many of the biblical references, and this is the northern Arabian tribes of Kedar, who are currently called Arab, the genealogy of Muhammad in Islamic traces back from the descent of Abraham from Ishmael through Kedar. So putting these together, I mean, a clearly mentioned name, and then on top of that, many other references that show the location. Now, I'll do one more thing before I let you speak on this,
Okay,
which is if we continue.
Real quick. So where is the name of Muhammad in there?
He hasn't. He's referencing an Isaiah passage and saying that it could be Jesus, but here's all the ways I'm going to try and say it's not.
Mm-hmm. Right, but the point is that Muhammad and his name is in the Bible.
Yeah. And he referenced the verse that does not use the name anymore.
It's in the right. So we're looking at Surah 7, Ayat 157. Right, where it says they will find him, the unlettered prophet, in their Torah and Injil. Well, he didn't go to the Torah. He went to the Tanakh. Those are different.
Mm-hmm.
You have to show Muhammad by name, because that's what your book says, by name, in the books of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. You have 9 books to find one name.
You know, so because like
9 long books to find one name.
Yeah, because if you're going to say it's the Torah, that's the first 5 books. Now, the Torah is part of the Tanakh. That's where you get the Ta for Tanakh.
Mm-hmm.
But he went to the Nevim and the Ketuvim, not the Torah. He's with him. I guess his own book.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness. And, like, this is the opening argument. This. All someone had to do was just press them back on this. And they don't.
Yeah.
And how long does it take him to actually just make this argument? Because he is, let me think. Let's see. Can we get a view of the clock? Okay, remember, it's 15 minutes. He has taken 8 of those minutes
To lay out the prompt.
to lay out the prompt, which means he's giving the guy, I mean, I think he's still going. Yeah, he's still going here.
Yeah. Yeah, he says he wants to make one last point.
And so at minute 7 is when the guy is actually really allowed to start speaking in terms of actual responses.
Is he? Because again, at minute 7, he wanted to make one last
The people
point.
of Kedar and Salah, who are Mecca and Medina, would celebrate his coming. So, what do you think?
Yeah. One, there's
Okay.
Right at minute
Okay.
7.
So yeah, right at minute 7. So he's taken over half of the time to lay out the prompt. Now, I actually pin this more on the Christian.
Oh yeah,
You,
for sure.
You cannot let him filibuster right there.
No, should have stopped
Because the
right as
longer he
Song of Solomon.
filibusters, exactly. As soon as he said that, he should have said, "Okay, let's go to the passage. Let's read the passage. Let's see what it's about."
Or when it hit Isaiah, to be like, okay, so why should I have any and kind of dissecting the actual passage itself regarding what this prophet that is referring to, what like also describes about him, because then you have to like kind of see like, is it actually in support of Muhammad or Jesus, or is it talking about someone else? Like let's just be able to put multiple options on the table and just be reasonable. So yeah, I agree with you. The Christian really should have spoken up. But also, I want to point out, if you just kind of, I say this with all love, if you look at him, it's clear he's not one of the scholars.
Yeah, I don't know too many scholars who dress like that.
Especially for like debates.
Yeah. No mark
There's a lot of
against him.
responsive.
He was just pulled up. He was pulled off the street. He has no idea what's happening.
No, yeah, he
But,
pretty much just
like-
off the street.
Yeah.
Here, let's go to because it's already 9 and we only got to hear one argument. So let's just move on to the next one. It should be right about here. There we go.
So he actually conquered sin and death.
All right.
So my prompt is that I do not believe Jesus is God himself according to the Bible.
In 3.
Honestly, my first
Where's my
thought
flag? Where's my flag?
was my first thought was, what do you mean by this?
Where's my flag? Because that prompt is so open. He didn't say Jesus never claimed to be God. He never said that Jesus is not the most high God. He just said Jesus is not God according to the Bible. En arche en hologos, kai en hologos prostanteon, kai theos en hologos. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Debate over.
Yeah. No, like you said, he just left it way open. It's just the Bible doesn't make this claim. What do you mean? You literally have to say it's corrupted to make it. Because it makes that claim. Another thing, like it was one of the things I thought too. I think it comes up later. My question is, what do you mean by God himself? Because the Muslims have a terrible habit of terribly representing the Trinity, where they say, "Oh, well, you have 3 gods," or all these like different arguments, and or what they end up doing is they say, "Well, you know, in order to say there's no 3 gods, you have to say they're all the same person." It's like, no, we've never said that. The heretic said that, and we kicked them out very quickly.
Yeah, we are not Unitarians.
No, it was like, if do you mean he's not the Father? Sure, he's not the Father. Are you saying he's just not divine, of the same divinity as the Father? You're just saying the Bible doesn't say so. Guess what? We have a whole slew of passages that say otherwise.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Like he said, the Bible. The Bible includes the letters of Paul, my dude. So I can go there, and if he says, "Well, no, that's Paul," you said the Bible.
Yeah, let's just
Paul is in the Bible.
prove to everyone real quick again.
My prompt is that I do not believe Jesus is God himself according to the Bible.
And he sets the mic down. That's it. That's the end of the prompt. Oh my goodness.
The prompt alone is just a wide open door. Here's what irks me. You ready?
In 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm
All right.
Will.
Great seeing you.
I'm the head pastor of Compass Christian Church, a non-denominational church here in Louisville, Kentucky, and I actually am a biblical Unitarian, so I agree with you
All right,
on this.
First guy up is a biblical Unitarian.
Why?
Why? Also, this should tell you there is no such thing as a Baptist seminary that has Unitarians. Also, notice he made it clear he is non-denominational. Baptist is denominational.
Yeah. I mean, you can have non-denominational who lean more Baptist,
Oh,
but but Baptist is a denomination.
I think I missed showing the intro. Or did they take it out? Oh,
generation. Letter B 98. A prophet of God and a messenger of God and a servant of God. Then he's got two personalities, you're saying.
He was one person, the God man. So on one topic, it's not God man. Or Christianity. Whenever the time goes off, someone else. First one to come. Today, we will have 15 minutes.
They took it out.
What? Do they take out the students and scholars from the Baptist seminary?
They took out that intro part of the video.
I can't attest one way or the other, truthfully. I have no idea.
I can promise you guys, and you can
We're
find
back a little
clips
bit.
on everyone else's channel, like Life's, where he says this. I will have
There
to
you go.
find it so we can show it. But they are actually there. It is him specifically stating that they are at a Baptist university or a Baptist seminary. Oh my gosh. But no, first guy up, and no one seeks to beat him there or to flag him out immediately.
Yeah. Well, and why choose this prompt? Right. Firstly, he says he's a biblical Unitarian. That doesn't exist.
It literally does not.
To be
It's
Unitarian is
unbiblical.
to reject the Bible. Now you can say, "Oh, well, I found my arguments in the Bible." I'll go, "Excellent. Let me show you 12 reasons why you're entirely wrong."
Let me just show you why you are, in fact, a heretic.
Exactly. And why you have been a heretic since the earliest levels of the church. Like the apostles were not Unitarians, definitively. Before the church starts, Zechariah is the most Trinitarian book in the Bible, Old or New Testament. It
Unitarians,
contains
you
the
have to.
multi-personhood of God so explicitly.
We can go back even earlier. Like you have Genesis 19:24. You have Exodus 19:24. How do you have two Yahwehs? And there's other passages. Those are just always the first one that comes to my mind. How do you have two Yahwehs?
And again, we go to John 1:1, right? The reason I go there so easily or so frequently is because it so easily refutes all of these nonsense ideas. How can the word be God and also be with God?
Also, how do you deal with John 5, where you have everything that the Father does, I do? What do you do with the Matthew passage, or is that maybe Mark, where it's the opening where it quotes a prophet saying that he'll prepare the way for Yahweh, and it's
That's
referring to John
Mark.
the Baptist. Okay,
Yeah,
so it's Mark.
Mark.
So Mark's saying John the Baptist, the guy preparing the way. Well, who's John the Baptist preparing the way for? Jesus.
Yahweh.
Which means, according to Mark, John is preparing the way for Yahweh, which is Christ.
Yeah. And then
And
again,
the list
First
goes
John,
on and on and on and on and on.
exactly. 1 John 4, God is love. Okay, so you are now suggesting that God is dependent upon creation. We are back to the deposition of Arius. All roads lead not to Rome, but to the deposition of Arius.
I honestly, I was
Sorry,
going to
Kat.
say this when we hit September, but the more I think about it, the more, if the deposition argument is true, which I do think it is, and Gregory Nissa is correct.
Based.
Exactly.
Amen. Jesus
Then
loves you too.
everyone technically who is not a Christian is technically an atheist.
I know. I thought that was actually very well put and very interesting. It's an interesting idea. I'd have to think about it more, but yeah.
It's like different degrees of atheist. Because if atheism, we take an idea of like the earliest portion. Actually, what I'm hoping to do is I might change one of our schedules for atheism if I can get it done in time. I kind of want to do like a brief
Do what you
history of
gotta
like,
do.
I was looking at doing like linguistic history of the term atheism and how it's been applied to today.
Yeah.
But like one of the earliest things was like rejection of specific gods. So like Justin Marr was called an atheist because he rejected the pagan gods of Rome. So even in the earliest sense, you have in a sense where you're an atheist in you are in today's standards in that you don't believe there's anything supernatural. And then there's the atheists who believe there are supernatural, but the ones they believe in is still not God. Now, I have not fully fleshed out my thoughts on that. It's just a passing thought I've had. I think it's an interesting thought. I'll hold off on going further than that for now. I still got to keep mulling over it. Let's get this next comment. I'm assuming this is a version of saying, hi, I'm sorry, I don't know your language, but I see 2 hand waving emojis. So I'm going to assume that means hi or of some sort, or hello. All right. Caleb will be back. I kind of want to keep going, but also I don't want to have him. Well, actually, he has his headphones on. He'll hear what's going on.
I'm the head pastor of Compass Christian Church, a non-denominational church here in Louisville, Kentucky, and I actually am a biblical Unitarian, so I agree with you on this topic. We may have some far-reaching disagreements on who Jesus is and stuff, but at least on his divinity, we're going to agree. And I know that we have people here that are going to strongly disagree with me on this, so I'm going to be very quick here as much as I can. I wrote a couple of books here. This is Andrew Perriman's book, In the Form of a God. He's a Trinitarian scholar who lives in the UK, and this is a book that addresses basically all the Pauline scriptures about the divinity of Jesus, and he agrees with me basically on all of the Pauline passages.
So I think it's very interesting.
Yes.
So first off, just because people may not know, as a Unitarian, biblical Unitarian, you do not believe Jesus is God.
Right. We don't believe in the personality of the Holy Spirit. We do not believe that Jesus is God.
So you're not a Trinitarian.
Not a Trinitarian. Nope. So we would say that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Basically everything that a conservative evangelical would believe about Jesus, except that he's not.
So I would agree with you on a lot of that. I believe he is a Messiah. I believe he's a prophet.
Sure.
And we would agree on that.
Yes.
Son, we can discuss. But okay, so this book here is from a Trinitarian who actually proves that Jesus wasn't God.
Yes. In Paul's epistles especially. And I think that's a lot of bone of contention between Islam. You would tend to reject, I think, a lot of the Paul's epistles and things like that.
I think it's a terrible misrepresentation if you're going to say he's a Trinitarian and he proved that Jesus isn't God in Paul. Now, I actually have to read through the book, so I'm hoping to maybe get a screen grab of that book. I think that if you're saying that it's a Trinitarian who said that he proves Jesus isn't God in Paul, clearly you didn't read the book close enough in order to come to that conclusion. It's like Dale Tuggy when he tries to make his arguments and like when he tries to frame out what the opposing views are. The only one he's ever done decently well in debunking is I don't want to keep ragging on him. I feel like a jerk that I keep doing this, but really is WLC's 3-headed dog springboard Trinitarian model.
We are Christians. Yeah, no, it's a particularly rough one.
At least portions of it.
Oh, that went right over your head, dog. That went right over your head. It's a rough one. RUFF.
Oh. Why are you the way that you are? Every time I try to make fun, you make it not that way. Oh, shoot, what's next part? No, there's another line just before that.
Why are you the way that you are? Every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be. But real quick, because I was listening while I was peeing. You're welcome for that, everyone. I find that interesting, as you said, that a Trinitarian would be like, no, Paul didn't believe Jesus is God. It's like, I mean, there are a lot of texts that Paul has where Jesus is very clearly God.
What's the first one that comes to your mind?
Romans 9:6 or 5. Sorry, Romans 9:5. Then you have 1 Timothy. The exact verse there escapes my mind. You get Colossians 1 and 2. Really, the whole chapter is the entire first half of the book of Colossians is dedicated to proving Christ's divinity. Philippians 2, obviously, while it's not Paul's main point in writing, it's absolutely a Christological passage. Titus chapter 2, verse 13. I could go on, man. Like, there are so many.
Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do is I'm going to see if I can get a screenshot later. Okay, let's see. He's referencing Dale Tuggy, Dustin. He did the debate. What's that?
Just Dale Tuggy. LOL.
Oh yeah. We started doing a response, quote unquote, in one of his. I think it was in the One God, Three Persons, Four Views book. I don't think we ever
Mhm.
finished that, but we kind of got the point. What I was gonna say is I might try to see if I can get a screen grab later of like these other books, like Dale Tuggy. I know his arguments; they're not good. They're really only good against very specific models. Dustin, if it's the guy who I think it is, he's the one who debated in against James White in that one video. I don't think you were there for that. I think I at least reacted to that one. That one was rough. James White also didn't do the greatest in that one. I'm gonna be honest, his debating skills have been going down lately.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. And I can't see what the other one was, but interesting. This is the kid they eventually pick at the end, which again, love his zeal. Also clearly not a Bible scholar. No offense to the kid.
Yeah.
You look
Well,
like you just graduated.
Exactly. Yeah. High school, that is. Just graduated high school.
Yeah.
He looks to be about 18 to 19 years old.
I'm thinking like maybe 20 at the most.
No.
But here, let's see what some of his other responses as new people come up that are, because they vote out this guy eventually. So let's see at least some of the things he tries to put forward regarding this, right? Because we can just come up with responses all day to like what verse we can point to, but he still has to make a case. He's making a positive, well, I guess kind of like a negative, but also kind of like a positive claim right now. So he kind of has to be able to say why we can not believe the Bible says so.
Yep.
The last book, was it?
Thomas Gasson's It's a History.
Oh, cool. Good talking to you. Sorry you got voted out. Wasn't me. I didn't raise the flag.
Everyone would like to come and join?
Yeah.
3,
Yeah.
2,
Notice,
1.
actually, hang on real quick. Right there. Uthman gives away the game a little bit. I was like, yeah, it wasn't me. Notice I didn't do it.
It's a history.
Yeah, pal, because he agrees with you on basically everything there.
Yeah,
Funny how that works.
there, I took a picture of the book. This is supposedly the Trinitarian, forwarded by Dale Tuggy. That's not a Trinitarian. What do you mean?
Oh man, was that the one? I thought it was. I thought it was a different one that he said was the. We'll
Things that
find
were
it
in the
later.
Apocryphal
Find it
or in
later.
the earlier books like Baruch and things like that. So he's going to prove incarnation comes from a Jewish background.
Unfortunately, you have been voted out by the majority.
Yep.
The last book, was it?
Thomas Gasson's It's a History.
Okay, so if that's the last, that's his last book. Okay. I
Yeah.
guess.
Things that were in the Apocrypha or
I'm about to say, if that's the first book, what do you mean? Dale Tuggy forwarded it.
in the earlier books like Baruch and things like that. So he's going to prove incarnation comes from a Jewish background.
Unfortunately, you
Right. So if I want to quickly say, if incarnation comes from a Jewish background, incarnation implies God became man. That would
Yeah.
only actually prove our
Incarnation.
point.
Yeah, incarnation implies that there was something to be incarnated. Because incarnation does not mean simply like having a body. It means taking one on.
Yeah.
Right? Coming into flesh. And like us being incarnate beings, we are bodies taking, or we are rather spirits taking on flesh. But we ourselves are not strictly the body.
Here, I'll quickly even read. Word origin comes from Latin word meaning in and flesh. So in flesh, let's see, verb to represent an idea or quality in a real physical form. Adjective, put into a flesh. So it'd be put into flesh or given a human form. Often describes an abstract quality or spirit made real, such as evil incarnate or generosity incarnate.
Interesting.
Oh, I just found it funny. So this comment here on one screen is showing me emojis of 2 flags. Another one is showing me letters. So that's why I was really confused. I was like, I don't know what language this is, but my computer over here is showing me that it's flags. I don't know what that was about then. Weird. Let's see.
Good talking to you. Sorry you got voted out. It wasn't me. I didn't raise the flag.
Everyone would like
Right.
to come join? Take a seat.
Yeah,
3, 2,
you don't say there, pal.
1.
Wait, do you go first or I go first?
You go first.
All right. So what I will say is that first of all, in the Bible, there's like literally
Okay, this is just me being nitpicky, not in a theological aspect. But I'm a musician. That's not how you hold a microphone. See that metal ring right here? Okay, so if you're like gonna sing, you put your hand right up at the edge of that and you aim it and put it in your mouth like it's ice cream.
Josh, buddy.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
I care because that's a dynamic microphone.
Like I said, nobody cares.
That's a dynamic microphone, which means it is a directional microphone. It is not meant to be just out here, out in the ether, and you just talk into it.
Josh, this is a biblical scholar, okay? He's not a musician. This is clearly a biblical scholar. All right. So you're going to have to give him some grace.
That tells me how high did you have to crank the gain to hear him?
Yes.
What's this comment over here? Another Russian comment.
Oh,
What?
what?
Corvin 87.
Yo,
What?
Vlad of Russia in the 9th century picked Christianity only because this religion allowed him to drink. Woof. Catholicism intensifies.
undoubtable evidence mentioning the Trinity. Because first of all, there's the part where Jesus says, I and the Father are one.
Okay.
Second of all, there's a part in, I'm pretty sure.
Can we take it one at a time?
Yep. So
All right.
basically it says, I and the Father are one.
And this is in John, right?
I love he said, let's take them one at a time after he gave a whole like 8-minute spiel
Mm-hmm. In the
for
first
Muhammad
prompt.
in the
Yeah.
Bible.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's in John.
Yep.
I read the Bible, but I don't have like all the verses
I got you.
memorized.
No
but
problem.
Okay.
Scholar? Like they had to rebrand this to 20 Christians versus 1 Muslim. Like I said, look, Christian ministers, students, and preachers. They had to add all these things and edit it because, as this one shows, where'd my screen go? It's just gone apparently on my
I don't
screen.
know.
There.
But you're frozen now.
As this one shows,
He gone.
they did not call it this originally, and they included a bit at the beginning talking about how I was talking to scholars. They had to edit the stuff out.
Sheikh Ibn Fibbin.
He really is.
Sheikh Fibbin Uthman.
I got them for you, bro.
Yeah.
All right, so I and the Father are one. So does that mean Jesus is God?
yeah, because if he's one, Son, Father,
Gotcha.
you know.
Gotcha. So in the same chapter, John, it also mentions, and this is in John 17:20, same chapter.
That's not the same chapter.
The same chapter, 7 chapters later.
That's not so right there. The kid messed up a little bit, right? He said, well, I don't have necessarily all the verses memorized. That told Sheikh Uthman that he could straight up lie.
But still, it's 7 chapters later.
Yeah.
10 and 17 aren't the same number.
No. For reference, the young man there referenced John chapter 10, verse 30. And Uthman is going to John
17.
chapter 17, verse
Look at
20.
yeah.
Which are vastly different contexts.
Well, here, let me put it this way. John 10 talks about how he and the Father are one in very particular actions and ranks and authorities, hence his mentioning of the
Which
divine
are
council in
exclusive
Psalm
to
82.
God alone.
Exactly. John 17 is talking about being one and sharing glory, which is participation in the energies of God, which the apostles talk at length about in the epistles.
Mhm.
Those
Peter
are
1,
two
for
very
example.
different ideas.
Yeah.
And so when we're talking about, oh, it says we're one here and one here, they're talking about being one in two very different senses.
Mhm.
One in the way that humanity cannot become. I mean, if you
Right.
want to say that humans eventually become over the angels, okay. But in Psalm 82, we're not.
And even then, there's a distinction, right? Christ makes the distinction that he has this glory before the foundation of the world. So clearly there is some distinction between the glory that man can participate in and the glory that God just naturally possesses.
At least in the experience, because the Son has experienced it eternally, we experience it temporally.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, like Sheikh Ibn Fibn, as you said.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So in the same chapter, John, it also mentions, and this is in John 17:20, same chapter, it says, I do not pray for these alone, but also for those who will believe in me through their word, that they all may be one as you, the Father, are in me, and I in you. In the same way, they may be one in us. So if the reference meaning Jesus
right saying, there's a word there. There's a distinction. Jesus doesn't say, I am in one with the Father. He doesn't say the Father is one in me. He says, I am one with the Father. Now, you can find other passages where Christ does talk about being one with the disciples. But specifically, John 17, he does use the qualifier in, right? So that kind of helps us to understand the exact wording that we're looking at here. Right? The exact, like, what we were talking about earlier with the experiences, right? The different experiences. There is a difference here. Ignoring the fact that, again, we are 7 chapters later, not in the same chapter as he claimed. There are qualifiers put in here. There are distinctions put in here. These are not talking about the same thing.
I didn't know if you wanted the things or not.
Can you read a chapter for me out of the Bible? Is it topical to the stream?
Is it a whole chapter? Because I'm not probably going to do that. I already did that once for the Quran, and I did not. I took a lot of time.
And you didn't even need to.
No.
I mean, props to you, though. You found the argument in there, but...
I found an argument in there. It was not the one you were talking about. Yeah, but like you talk, the glory that you've given me, I've given to them, that they may be one, even as we are one. So in the sense that they are being one is in glory.
Yeah, and notice the glory that you have given to me, I have given to them. Right, so there's a passing along here. We do not just directly get the glory. We must participate in it through Christ.
It's just it's interesting when people just refuse to actually read the passages, because the second you do, it nullifies your point.
Yeah. All right. This person says it's confusing. Perhaps there's a way we can better explain it then.
Just if you could tell me where you got confused, that would be more helpful, just so we can then respond more appropriately.
No.
Because I'm not sure when I know he says 9:27. I don't know what we were saying exactly at that second when you sent that. So if you could just kind of point us in the direction of what you're referring to. Not trying to be difficult. It's just
no. My guess, if I had to guess, I would say it's probably because the different experiences could definitely trip people up. Like, what exactly it means for us to be experiencing God's glory versus God possessing his glory. But I obviously can't read the person's mind. That'd be a nice superpower.
I don't know. As long
selective, if you can turn it off, it's a nice superpower.
Yeah. Well, because I'm thinking like when you first when you first kind of experience the power, you gotta wonder if it's gonna be like Clark Kent and Man of Steel, where it's like he's just taking it all in at once. Or like General Zod when his helmet comes off, like, is it going to happen all at once? You have to learn to control it. Because I really do not want to hear everyone's thoughts right away.
I feel like that would I feel like he would die, honestly. Yeah.
I would not enjoy that. You get this back on stage. You fix it over here for our phone viewers. There we go.
I and the Father are one makes him God, then according to the Bible, Christian Bible, in the red-lined version, meaning that is the words of Jesus, then all the people who believe in Jesus would be God, because he said they will be one in us in the same way that I am with you.
my thoughts.
Okay, again, two different passages, two different points. If you want to take it in the way Athanasius means it, where he says that God became man so that man can become God, but he means that in the Greek word that they use for it is theosis, in the idea that we are effectively, if you go back to our image of God series that I did a while ago and understand how like images work and God then indwelling in images, it makes actually a ton of sense. And Athanasius' argument just makes it even more clear, is the idea of that humanity is becoming more of what they were supposed to be, which is in this union with God, not in ousia as in the essence, but in the way we actually just kind of live out and function in relationship with him. There's a lot more that can be said about that, but just want to point out these are, again, the kid's referring to John 10. Sure, he doesn't know that, but John 10 is talking about being one, and therefore using it as an identifier for him being God in a very different sense than John 17 is.
Case in point, in John 10, well, firstly, Josh is talking about theosis, confirmation. Josh is becoming Orthodox.
No.
Shut that down real quick.
Does not follow.
More to the point, he's talking about John 10 there. When Jesus says that, the Jews immediately go, oh, he just claimed to be Yahweh.
He just claimed to be
and
equal
they go,
with God.
And they go to pick up stones to kill him, and Jesus is like, whoa, guys, I didn't claim to be God, right? Isn't that what he says? No. He goes, whoa, hang on.
He doubles down.
I've done many good things. What are you stoning me for? They're like, no, we're stoning you because you claim to be God. He's like, well, hang on. If Psalm 82, he calls the divine council gods, how much more is the one who rules over them God?
Especially when it says
the Jews. Exactly. And the Jews are like, yeah, okay, you just doubled down. You're going to die now. And Jesus is like, nope, I'm out. Peace.
Like, the fun thing about John 10 is he makes a statement. They want to kill him. He then, many people think he makes this one argument that kind of makes him sound like he backs off. He doesn't. He doubles down. And then he says, the Father's in me and I'm in the Father. Like, he triples down on it. So he's like just beating them over the head with it. He's like, nope. Because what's the next
why they go kill him again.
Exactly.
Right? Like, if he had just backed down, it makes no sense that they try to kill him again.
Yeah.
But
and if he's just talking about man becoming, if he's talking about men can become gods, especially because think about what Uthman's trying to argue for right now, the way he's arguing it would line up more with the LDS version and the way he's arguing, of which there is no reason then, if that was true, for the Jews to be that ticked.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's why I'm always confused by several of the cults, right? Like, so LDS states that this was always the message that was believed by the faithful Jews. And in which case, why was Jesus killed? Same for Islam. If Jesus came preaching that God is one, right? They say came preaching Tawheed, right? God is one, oneness of person. Now we would say, well, God is one in his essence. But they say, no. Jesus preached that God is one in his person too, and to worship God alone. Okay, so why was Jesus killed? That's what the Jews believe. So why is Jesus actually at that time? That's not what the Jews believe. They believe that God is multi-personal, and that all worship goes to God. Jesus was killed because the Pharisees understood that he was claiming to be God, and they didn't like that. That's why Jesus was killed. But the Islamic and the LDS view really have massive problems because they're claiming that Jesus is preaching something that the Jews already believe. He has comments.
Yeah, let's see this real quick. First one. Where can you find a Christian debating someone that is Jewish? I haven't seen that anywhere.
Well, firstly, we have offered several times to debate a Jew on this channel, and it has been declined.
Off the top of my head, it's not really a debate, but a good conversation is on Sean McDowell's channel from, I think, like January.
Yeah, because we reacted to it.
So I would look for that video. It's not a debate, but at least kind of gets into the discussion because he has a lot of questions. I don't recall. I spent a minute since I've looked into Jewish polemics. Let me specify modern day Jewish polemics. I have a hard time
Not
really
ancient.
saying that modern Jews are the same as ancient Jews or biblical Jews. And I lean more and more with Gregory of Nyssa in saying that we do not believe in the same God. You came and say they worship the Father. They don't even believe in a God that can be Father.
Because case in point, or what would be the stance of a Christian against someone that is Jewish, I would point you to the deposition of Arius. And as Josh was just talking about there, if God is not eternally a father, then God is dependent upon creation. So I would argue against a Jew that you have a dependent God.
And so that's from deposition of Arius, as he just said. It's also in, which text is it? It's another Athanasian text. I think it's in defense of the Nicene definition. Might be in that one.
Yes.
Where he sorry. There's this. I have to find it. I'll put it in the description maybe later. And by that I mean I'll forget and never do it. But there's a text. There's another text where he writes out. Actually, I have the book over here where he outlines the definition of Arianism by himself, and it's not in the context of him doing the deposition amongst many of the brethren. Let's see. The other text I was just referring to, the bishops of Egypt. So it's this letter to the bishops in Egypt. It's chapter 2. It's Arian statements, and in there he also gives an outline of Arianism, which really you could honestly say Jews are Arian in a sense. If they, or at least the argument against Arianism is good against Judaism in a sense. Be a way to put it. Also, Gregory of Nyssa is what I was referring to earlier. If you go to, I think it's either his first or second letter against Eunomius, which is basically a follow-up to his brother Basil's response to Eunomius. In there, he makes out the argument of how the Jews believe in one who is most high, but they do not believe in God.
This is actually an interesting question. So who do you think is closer to a Christian, a Muslim, or someone that is Jewish? My answer would be neither. Because at the fundamental, right, so obviously people's immediate instinct would be to go, oh, well, it's the Jews, right? They affirm the Old Testament. Okay. But they reject its contents. Right? Right? Like you can pay lip service to it. That's fine, right? You can read from it. You can even believe it is true and inspired. But if you ultimately reject what's in it, then I'm sorry, we don't have a common ground.
I think also, like, if you want to say, the only way I can like try to argue Jews are closer is that they have the text, so they should be closer to coming to knowing the truth.
Right.
Should be. But many of them won't, which is why Paul in Romans, I think it's 10, maybe it's 7. I can't remember if it's 7 or 10.
It's 9 and 10 are specifically where he's talking about.
Okay, 9 and 10, where he's in agony over the fact that his Israeli brothers do not believe. But then he also states that those who do not believe will be cut off. So even in Paul's mind, the church didn't replace. That's one of the things I hate about how many people kind of represent Christianity and say, "Oh, you all believe in replacement theology." It's like, no, Paul is making it clear that the church is just fulfilling things like Isaiah on the global scale, and therefore that is what Israel is supposed to be expanding, and that those who reject it, including those who are by blood Jewish, who reject it, will be either cut off and therefore will lose the chance eventually, or will be cut off from the branch that they were originally born of, but that we are grafted into it. It has never been that we've replaced anything, or that this is still this thing or this thing. Like that's just completely not understand what Paul is saying. You just have to just use his words as the way he uses it. Let's stop adding to his words, and we'll be fine.
Yeah. And something real quick here that I just recalled. I can't believe I forgot it. My boy, my man, Justin Martyr, and his dialogue with Graphai is him arguing purely from the Old Testament that Jesus is the Messiah.
Yes.
So I would go and read that. It is a long read, just a heads up, but if you can find an audiobook and put it on 2 times speed, you'll get there eventually.
You can obviously get real quick for Justin Marlin. You obviously can get that book on public domain and read it.
Yeah.
However, if you're like me and you like to have things in your hands, this one I got on Amazon, I think for like less than $20, and it's not bad. It's all of his works, and the text is nice. It's a nice size. It's a lot of footnotes for references, so it's a good reference, especially if you want to look at what he's referencing specifically regarding the Septuagint and how he's making his arguments. You actually can go back and read the passages he's using in even greater context. So I recommend this one, but if you want to read for free, not spend the money, obviously you can find it in public domain too.
Because Muslims believe in Jesus, but not that he is God. Okay, well, they don't really believe in Jesus. But the Jewish belief denies Jesus. Is that correct? Yes. So they do not. The Muslims believe that Jesus is a prophet who came and taught Tawheed, the oneness of Allah. And the Jews, depending on the Jew that you talk to, some will say he was a wise teacher, in which case you fall into C.S. Lewis's Lord Liar Lunatic problem. But they will not affirm him as a prophet. So yes, Muslims believe Jesus is a prophet, but they lower him under the status that he gives himself, right? Muslims, or Jesus rather, puts himself in the station of God, and Muslims say, well, no, you're not. Okay, well, then you've rejected Jesus. All right. Did you want to touch on anything else, or?
Not off the top of my head, I can remember. There's more we could probably listen to for that other one. People, I recommend you go check that out just to hear the conversation that happens there. Caleb, if you ever want material for Apologia, I can send you the link if you want to work your stuff in here. Up to you. But I just skipped that to the next argument for now. Again, there's so much more that can be said about the previous one, but I just want to kind of get the most out of this video. It's already 9:42, and I'm sure Caleb has work in the morning. I don't want to, or has something more. I don't want to have him lose any more chances to kind of look at some stuff.
Great talking to you. Thank you. I believe Jesus is a prophet of God and a servant of God in accordance to the Bible.
If you would like to.
Agree.
Like, seriously, what's there to debate about?
Who's going to disagree with that? Is this where you agnostic atheist?
Exceeding 3, 2, 1.
All right, so I was going to say, I mean, there's not really much of a disagreement with this. It's just like, you know.
So you said Jesus was sent by God, right?
Yeah, he's sent by God. Father sent the Son down to spread the good message. And I think that.
But really, it's supposed to be like a part 2 of the previous one. It's him now diminishing or trying to diminish.
Right.
I try to remember where the atheist actually comes back in. Oh, here we go.
He has restrained himself from certain things out of his honor and glory. For example, the Bible says God cannot lie. God can do.
There we go.
He was one person, the God-man. So he's completely unioned God-man.
Unfortunately, you voted up by the majority. So
That was great talking. I was having a fun conversation. All right.
continue with the next guy.
Next.
Come up next. Please do it. 3, 2, 1.
I got a question for you. So, do you believe that God can do anything?
Great question. I believe God can do anything, but he has restrained himself from certain things out of his honor and glory. For example, the Bible says God cannot lie, right? So it's not that he doesn't have the ability, it's that it would be beneath his honor and glory.
Right. It's like he can that he won't, right?
Yeah, so again, it's beneath him, right? It's like saying, can God create a rock he can't lift? Well, obviously, God is all capable, so that paradigm doesn't make sense. God, to make a rock he can't lift would be like a square circle, meaning God can do anything.
Funny that you said that, because I was literally going to bring that up.
I knew you were going there.
Because
Okay.
that's the problem with questions like...
which is such a stupid question, right? Like, obviously, when we talk about God's omnipotency, we are talking about what is logically possible, right? That's the law of non-contradiction, the law of the logical necessity. This is just baseline. This is not even philosophy 101. This is stuff that your professor will give you summer reading and expect you to know on day one. Like, this is like such an atheist Reddit tier gotcha.
This was a question that was
doesn't work.
This is one that was asked of me by a fellow classmate in 2nd grade. I started being like, what kind of question is this?
Yeah, they were pulling the cream of the crop for this one.
Let's I just want to comment something you have kind of said before. I kind of want to maybe look at some other things that could be said about this. So omnipotence, a lot of people would refer to as like a property of God.
Not, by the way, not putting that comment. That was inappropriate.
No, I saw that. I totally agree with you on that one. And when we describe, because we've referenced them already, if we take the Constantinople, Nicaea and Constantinopolitan perspective,
hey, he said it
on the essence is unknowable. Now, there's a difference between the ousia and the, I think it's physis or physis, which is the word that Peter uses. One is describing like how something acts, and one is describing like nature, like how things in nature work, versus the essence is what something is. Now, we tend to kind of bring the two together in English discussions, but in Greek they're related but different conversations. So the question could be like, okay, well, then if we can't know God's essence, how can you say we know these properties? And it's like, well, first off, what's interesting is that in some essence, the properties are almost like negative statements, in that there is no limit to God is not bound by time, is what we mean by timelessness. God has no limit of power, in that there's not a limit of the capacity to do something. Right. He is not limited in that capacity. Now, in his use of it, there's a limit in the idea of what is logically possible. He's not going to make a married bachelor. That's not definitionally possible. But the thing too is that is kind of helpful because their properties and their capacities. This would be like how Paul uses the word dunamis, which is like a word that we translate as power, but if you look at the Greek usage, it also refers to like capacities and stuff, which also applies into the things that God has the capacity to do in action. So the reason why we can say he has these properties is because they actually point to the capacity of activities that he can do. Therefore, it's not actually pointing to the actual essence itself. Just a quick little nerd thing. But the point being is that with this question about the question of omnipotence, is that, well, he's saying, oh, he's not all powerful. You're getting the categories mixed up, because omnipotence is talking about the capacity of the power that God has. There is no limit in that capacity. Now you're talking about the execution or the usage of that power. And now using the category error, because you're also talking about a immaterial being and a material being. The second that material thing is created, it's already a completely different category. And we're just kind of getting to like all these different little things. So, I mean, there's different things you talk about, like the non sequiturness of the question itself. You can talk about the category error of it. You can talk about various other ways. Like you mentioned, I can't remember your version, how you responded, but there's that response as well. There's just so many ways responses, because it just doesn't understand what omnipotence even is. We talked about his capacity of power. There's no limit in capacity.
Yeah. The properties are intrinsic. Right.
Also, usually when you talk about natures, they're usually positive statements, but because we can't know God's essence, we use sometimes positive things. We also use them in negative. But they have negative meanings, not in their bad meanings, but in their negations of something else to be said. But then you also have like aseity would be like it's a cause word, so that's a relational word. It's not a essence word or a nature word. Which is
funny, because say is inherently a negative, but
yeah,
you're using it in a positive sense,
right? And it means of oneself or uncaused, however we want to talk about it being used. So it's a relational word. So that's why you don't typically say that the essence is ase by essence, because that's a category misunderstanding. That's a relational category within the divine triad. You would say the Father in his person is ase. He's not of one other, but the Son is.
Comprehensible. I don't know if that means you didn't understand it.
I'm incomprehensible because I just am speaking word vomit.
Okay.
You want to look at this question, or do you want to keep looking through the video first?
Screw it. How does God's essence reflect in his creation? Because if God created everything and at some point it was only his essence, then creation came in existence, everything would have a connection. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. And you do clarify with his essence. Are you stating like we can like have an experience of his essence? Because I would argue that as a Christian, you certainly can, with the Holy Spirit dwelling inside of you. You can have some connection with his essence in that sense, but like, I'm not entirely sure what the question is, truthfully. Sorry for misunderstanding you. And there you go, with his essence. The only thing close to understanding God is through a spiritual experience. Yes and no, in the sense that your spirit will experience basically everything your flesh does. But also you can have experiences of the flesh that point you towards God.
Yeah.
Right? Like to get a little graphic with you, having sex is an experience that does actually draw you closer to God, right? The reason for the second time to bring it up this stream that Song of Solomon is in the Bible is because it is a depiction of something that draws you closer to God, right? Appreciating the physical aspect of your image bearing is something that draws you closer to God.
Spiritual experience restore veils from his essence. Spiritual experiences would be, I'm just more convinced of this because Paul just outright says it, would be the energies of God, which actually isn't, it starts distinction wise in Aristotle, but actually you can make a very strong argument that Philo, who is a Jewish philosopher prior to Jesus, very much argues for a distinction in God's essence and his energies, which, yes, his energies are derived from the capacity that is found in some sense regarding his essence, even though we don't really know what that is. So I wouldn't disagree, but I would just maybe personally would phrase it maybe a little bit differently. Just because if you collapse those two, it can get you to some weird, sketchy territories.
Perhaps a clarifying question then. Raw dogs. Hey, there you go. Dog.
Dogs.
XO, big dog.
Ooh, yeah.
What exactly do you mean by God's essence?
Yeah.
That might be a helpful clarifying question.
While
you formulate that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, good. Sorry. It doesn't matter, actually.
I was just going to say, while you formulate that, we can maybe finish this Uthman video up.
Yeah, sure. We can either keep listening to this guy or we can skip ahead to the next prompt.
I ain't going to lie. The argument he brought immediately was just rough.
I think the point just being that this is, again, in the video, it says 20 Christians. You have a Unitarian and you have a guy who is agnostic, maybe atheist, and they earlier promoted it as scholars. It's just all massive deception. Even when they corrected it, it's still deception.
Yeah. Dawahception.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Here, let me try to get to the next one. We have an Episcopalian now up.
LOL. Sorry, that was involuntary. Just the state of the modern Episcopalian church is just
twice now. We've said that we weren't gonna in all the time you said we're never gonna like take shots at denominations. So twice now we both have taken shots where you go, oh, just becoming Orthodox. Nope, not doing that. And then you're like, as Episcopalians, wow.
No, but hear me out though. There are, I mean, I've yet to find them, but there are theoretically good Episcopalians out there.
Oh yeah.
The state of the Episcopalian Church, right? Specifically like ECUSA and stuff, denomination branches of Episcopalianism like that. The mainline ones are a joke.
Well, it's the same with Methodists too. Like in New York, they're an absolute mess. If you go to Pennsylvania, like where one of my roommates went for his is a Methodist church, and they had their stuff together.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and like PCUSA, right? Like these are all the churches, by the way, guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, where you like will see the videos of them declaring that God is non-binary and reading, like, and saying that, what really matters is the social justice and that's why Jesus came. And it's like, well, no, right? That's not actually true. That's not why Jesus came. And so that's kind of the reason we're a little bit dogging on them. But if you corrupt our scriptures with your tongue, we're gonna dog on you.
Yeah. All right. I think I got the next prompt up. We can at least look at this one. Maybe this will be the last one for tonight.
Based.
Amen. Based.
Thank you. All right, my prompt. I do not believe the Bible is 100% preserved words of God. I believe there are a lot of instances where you will find clear contradictions that were made by scribal errors and others that were inserted by different people over time.
Okay. So right there, we have something that is an Islamic thought being mapped onto the Bible.
Yeah.
We as Christians, when we talk about inerrancy, do not mean that every single copy of the Bible is completely and totally infallible without any grammatical mistakes or copying errors whatsoever.
No, we're completely open about the fact that there are scribal errors.
Way to just lob a grenade out there with absolutely no support.
Well,
Bro, just Kobe!
It's going for the hoop.
Airball. Like, dog. I'm sorry. Just the Bible contradicts itself over and over and over. I'm always fascinated by these people. And I've said this before. Do you believe that in 2,000 years of history, you are going to bring up a contradiction that has not been answered? Right? The Bible has been heavily scrutinized for its whole existence, 2,000 years. Do you think you, Brian Sheenfield, are going to come up, 228, are going to come up with an objection that has not been completely and totally debunked? And if so, I would love to hear it.
I think that was amazing too, is that the arguments I typically hear from people, sure, I don't remember how to respond to all of them because it's been a second, so I've actually had to look into some of them, but there are arguments that have been refuted decades ago, at least within scholarship fields, that no scholar uses anymore.
Yeah.
So I'd be
like,
I say I would
Right.
be very curious which contradiction you're specifically thinking of.
Yeah. Well, and you will notice, as Josh mentioned, these high-minded atheists, if you will, don't run to these contradictions. Why do you think that is? Because they know they don't work. So they're arguing more so on either historical reliability, which is also falling apart rapidly, or philosophy, which is also falling apart rapidly. So
that's why even Alex O'Connor
they
has
don't run to
referred to Christianity as based.
Yes. Exactly. All right. Let's get to the last. Oh, yes. So the Islamic principle being applied here is that the Muslims have proclaimed that every single Quran has been perfectly preserved. Now that claim has shifted. That goalpost has absolutely shifted over time to the point where now they do not make such claims because they know that we can easily go, well, hang on, you have the Qira'at, which are different. You have, I could retype the entire Quran and change one letter of it, and now I've just completely refuted your whole claim. Right? So, exactly, right? And upon printing, it's not going to divinely just suddenly correct the error.
That'd be
So,
kind of wild.
If it did, then I think we have some evidence here, right? I think we have.
All right, time to switch.
But exactly, the issue is
if we should run this experiment, and if it changes back to the original, we take our shahada.
I'm not typing out the entire Quran. I do not care that much.
I'll just copy and paste and change one word.
Yeah, if you want to do it, if you want to waste your time like that, be my guest.
I really don't.
I do not care. Point being, we know that it's not true. Firstly, Ibn Masud and Ibn Ka'b, two of the 4 students of knowledge in Islam. All right, for those who don't know, the students of knowledge are the 4 people Muhammad himself handpicked and said, if you want to learn the Quran from anyone, learn it from these four guys. Two of them, Ibn Masud and Ibn Ka'b, had different Qur'ans. They had different numbers of chapters in their Qur'an. One had, oh gosh, what was it? One had 116, and was the other one, I think, 110? It's been a while since I've done this. I think it was 110. And guess how many chapters are in the Quran now? 114. They had differing views on how many chapters should be in the Quran, and we didn't go with either of them. Then the third caliph, right, who was the head of Islam, right, that's like their pope, basically, if you will, because everybody thinks head of Christianity, they think pope, even if it's not totally accurate. Irregardless, basically the Muslim pope, the third one, so you get Muhammad, you get the next guy, and then you get Caliph Uthman, burns the Qur'ans with differences. This is something recorded in their own histories. Then you get all the way to the year 1924, where the Cairo standardized version of the Quran comes out. Because there were too many different versions. So they're like, all right, they sat down in 1924. They went, all right, there's too many differences. 1924 Cairo Standard Edition comes out. They're like, use this one from now on. And guess what? It didn't hold up. It did not survive 100 years. Which their own scholars admit. So he's applying this standard.
No, we don't.
Acting as if there is perfect preservation of the Quran and saying that this is how Christians view the Bible. No, it's not. And it's not how you should even view your own book. So right off the bat, we are starting with a vastly flawed prompt. Now, let's actually kind of address the prompt, though. He's going to say, well, there have been later editions. Well, technically, yes, because the Bible is progressive revelation. Right? Moses didn't write the book of Revelation, for example. So, yes, there have been additions into the canon. That doesn't mean additions of doctrine. Right? Like, by that, I mean there aren't like people just adding in doctrines when they feel like it. That's not what Christians believe. And secondly, I would point to the unbelievable amount of quotes from the church fathers we have regarding the scriptures as divinely inspired, and how difficult it would be then to go back and change those because we have all of the writings from the church fathers. We also have the Dead Sea Scrolls, which we checked. These are pre-Christian texts. We went and we checked them with what we have in the Bible today, and they matched up almost identically with small variants here and there. And there was a website, actually, we could probably add it to the description if we remember, of the Dead Sea Scrolls where they actually go and show you the differences. And they have a couple different categories. one is like they code it in green, and it's difference in the text that has
the one you use in your
no
debate
impact.
With, sickness.
That's right. Yes. One that has no impact on the meaning of the text. And then one in red, which is it does have impact on the meaning of the text. But the ones where it does have impact, it's because they left out a word. Right? So it would be like, the dog walked to the store is how we have it in our Bibles, for example. And then the Great Isaiah Scroll has it as, then the dog walked to the store. Right? That does impact meaning in the sense that it's now a sequence. However, in both sentences, you understand the idea. The dog walked to the store. So this claim is unbelievably stupid. And I know where he's going to go, right? He's going to go 1 John 5:7 in the KJV, and then also 2 Chronicles 22 in the KJV. Right? The first one is a verse that was absolutely added later in 1 John 5:7. it's been taken out in our current Bibles because we understand, no, this was a later forgery. And then 2 Chronicles 22 is a copyist error. I believe it's 22:2, and then there's a passage in 2 Kings
where you have which king it is. You have two
regarding the age of the king. Yeah.
I don't think he uses those two this time. I can't remember.
Okay. I'm surprised he doesn't, because those are usually
I might be wrong. It's been a week since I watched this video.
Reddit tier atheists.
Real quick, just for any Christian who has not heard that before, has not heard inerrancy described briefly that way before, and this concerns you. Here's the beautiful thing about what's called textual criticism. Let's take Aristotle, for instance. We have a few of his texts where we have, at best, 10 copies of manuscripts. We have documents for different kings and events from like the BCs that are like thousands of years after. That's the oldest text we have, is but it's a 1,000-year gap from the actual dating of the actual event itself. It can go through like so many of these different texts. There's many presentations you can find on this. We not only have at least fragments within decades of the recorded events of the Gospels, we have thousands more, at least 6,000 more copies than the highest amount of other copies for other texts. And
within the first 400 to 500 years.
Exactly. And the benefit of this is that we are able to cross-reference all of them and piece together what more than likely is the original, what is additions, what is not additions.
Right. And when Josh says, and when Josh says more than likely, he means like to 99.9999999% certainty.
Yeah.
And like, which you could argue, well, you can't really be 100% certain of anything in that field.
Yeah.
But like as certain as you could be is how certain we are.
And your Bibles are so open about that they tell you in the footnotes, if like, hey, this thing isn't here, but this is the manuscript we're working with, and so other ones omit this, and they give you like a brief explanation of like X. And they're so open like, we have been beyond open about this. This is not anything that concerns Christians in the lightest. Also, I love the Bible, like we do. The Bible is written because Jesus died and rose. Your faith is not in whether or not the Bible is perfectly preserved or perfectly written. I did a video on this where I do believe in inerrancy, but I did a video saying if we took inerrancy out of the picture, it does not mean Christianity is any less true. Because our faith is, as Paul says, is built on the event of Christ's death and resurrection. And without that resurrection, there is no Christianity. Right. So I know what my original prompt kind of scared Caleb there for a second.
Yeah, I know. Well, I just heard, I love the Bible, and like the exact tone of a but, and I was like, where is this one going? Guys, we're going to hop off stream. Josh and I are going to have about a 3-hour-long conversation.
I love the Bible. I do believe it's inerrant. I do hold dearly to it. As obviously as like the highest authority that we can tangibly have, apart from
it doesn't
God himself.
The truth of Christianity.
Right. It explains the truth of Christianity, but the New Testament is written because Jesus rose. It wasn't the other way around. Yeah. And that's something I think we just need to remember, and that should not therefore have us ever discount the Bible. But I think that should bring back perspective that our religion is not founded on a text, it is founded on a person and an event. And really, in that case, 3 persons.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it and to close it, honestly.
Unfortunately, we really didn't get any explanation on the spiritual experience and essence comment, which looking for a little more understanding. And obviously, the Bible contradictions grenade was just lobbed with no actual argument. But yeah, like I said, guys, you can watch the other ones if you want to actually have an aneurysm. I don't think we really got to have one today. Really deeply.
It was pretty chill.
But also because you didn't I didn't make you have to listen through the arguments the supposed Christians were making as well. Whereas where I start getting ready to throw my phone at the wall.
And if you want to have experiences which make you want to throw your phone at the wall, be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to leave a comment, which will make us want to throw our phones at the wall. And make sure that you go and join our Discord, because then
where you can really throw your phone at a wall.
Exactly. Then we can throw our phones at the wall together. That is the best way to engage with us in genuine conversation, argumentation, and just fellowship. You do not have to be a Christian to join. We have several non-Christians in there now. I have killed Josh.
That's a great way to go.
Thanks, man. But make sure to hit the notification bell. That way you know whenever we post any sort of content. Go and check out all of the sub channels. And with all that said, we really appreciate you guys watching and throwing your phones into the wall with us. God willing, we will see you next time. Peace.
Yeah. Counseling session. Weighing every word like gold. From the manger to the throne, same person, not a switch, not a mask, that's certain. One Lord, one face, one name, Son of God, Son of Man, unchanged. Perfect in divinity, say that. Perfect in humanity, play back. True God, true man, one Christ, not a myth, not half, full life, begotten for ages. Blazing, born in time from a virgin, amazing, like us in all things. That's flesh, sin apart though, clean breath, same person they followed in Galilee. Same person who spoke in eternity. Not a blend, not a phase, not parts, one hypostasis, one heart. Two natures, one Christ, one Lord, unmixed, unchanged in the light of his glory. Yeah, undivided, unseparated, hold tight, one person, one story. Two natures, one Christ, say it. God and man in a holy harmony. What he is, what he became, still the same through the ages of ages. Amen. They try to pull him apart, we won't. Make him only a prophet, he don't fit inside those boxes you draw. He's the word that fulfills every law. Not confused like colors that smear, not split like friends disappear. Distinct what is his as a man, and what is his as I am. He got hungry, he slept, he wept, yet the universe held as he stepped. He was nailed, he bled, he died, yet the author of life still alive. So we speak what the elders confess. From the west and the east, one faith, one breath. God the mystery, keep that flame. Same Jesus, yesterday, today. Two natures, one Christ, one Lord, unmixed, unchanged in the light of his glory. Yeah, undivided, unseparated. Yeah, one person, one story. Two natures, one Christ, say King. God and man in a holy harmony. What he is, what he became, still the same. Oh yeah, through the ages of ages. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Not another savior on the shelf. He bridges God to us to himself. If he ain't God, we're still in chains. If he ain't man, he can't feel our pain. So I rest in the creed they wrote. Every careful phrase, every note. Hold that line, don't